Hey James, what have you lost to addiction?
I've lost a lot of things, but the most valuable thing that I've lost is time.
Hey Haley, what have you lost to addiction?
My college career.
Hey Kim, what's one thing you've lost to addiction?
Myself.
Hey Scott, what have you lost to your addiction?
Self-respect.
Hey Justin, what have you lost to addiction?
Family, friends, respect.
Hey Billy, what have you lost to addiction?
Son, a family.
Hey John, what have you lost from addiction?
My life and my family.
Hey Kipper, what have you lost from your addiction?
I've lost a lot of self-respect, time that could have been better spent serving better purposes.
Hey Chad, what have you lost to your addiction?
Time with my family.
Hey Mike, what have you lost to addiction?
My dreams.
Hey Jacob, what have you lost to addiction?
Gratitude.
Hey Fellow, what have you lost to addiction?
Military career.
So what have you learned from your addiction?
Not only are you hurting yourself, you're hurting everyone that cares about you.
What have you learned from your addiction?
That drugs can never give me the fulfillment that Jesus Christ has.
And what have you learned from your addiction?
That there is life and hope.
What have you learned from your addiction?
That it's a liar.
What have you learned from your addiction?
That I can't beat it alone. I need God.
And what have you learned from your addiction?
What not to do. Learn a lot of things, how to live my life properly with the care of God.
And what have you learned from addiction?
I can't do it on my own. I gotta believe in God and let God continue to work in my life.
What have you learned from your addiction?
I can be persistent about doing something, my addiction being the wrong thing. I can turn that around and use it and be as persistent in doing positive things.
Hey Mike, what have you learned from your addiction?
That I can start over.
What have you learned from your addiction?
That I have more room to grow.
What have you learned from your addiction?
That even in my weakness, I can become strong.
What's one thing you're proud of since getting sober?
And my hair's grown back.
What's one thing you're proud of since getting sober?
Finding peace and joy in the little things of life.
What's one thing you're proud of since getting sober?
That I never quit trying to get sober.
What are you proud of since getting sober?
The fact that I still want to stay sober.
And what's one thing you're proud of since getting sober?
The fact that I can enjoy life being sober and not being high all the time.
What's one thing you're proud of since getting sober?
I can be a dad again.
Hey Chad, what's one thing you're proud of since getting sober?
I can pay for my son.
What's one thing you're proud of since getting sober?
The respect in the way that my parents look at me.
What's one thing you're proud of since getting sober?
I can laugh again.
What's one thing you're proud of since getting sober?
Putting money into my daughter's bank account instead of withdrawing from it.
What's one thing you're proud of since getting sober?
My relationship with God and my kids.
Why'd you want to get sober?
I was tired of living in hell.
Why did you want to get sober?
To have the life that God planned for me to have, not the one that I was trying to have.
Why'd you want to get sober?
The pain was just too much.
Hey, why'd you want to get sober?
I want my life back.
Why'd you want to get sober?
I was sick and tired of being sick and tired all the time. I just want to enjoy life being sober.
And why'd you want to get sober?
Sooner or later, you get tired of your daughter wondering if you're coming home, if you're going to make it home. Mom and dad start avoiding your phone calls. So just trying to be part of the family again.
Or why'd you want to get sober?
All my life, it seems like I've done the wrong thing and followed the wrong people. I'm 40 years old now, and I really want to make the second half of my life mean something to me.
Why'd you want to get sober?
To be the person I was meant to be.
What's one reason you wanted to get sober?
I wanted to stop being detrimental to my relationships with others and myself.
Why'd you want to get sober?
Because I was tired of hating the person that I was looking at in the mirror.
What's one thing you'd tell someone struggling with addiction?
You're not a bad person. Have hope.
And what's one thing you'd tell someone struggling with addiction?
That you're not alone. Ask for help.
What's one thing you'd tell someone struggling with addiction?
It can be done.
What's one thing you'd tell somebody struggling with addiction?
Ask for help. It's not impossible.
What's one thing you'd tell someone struggling with addiction?
Don't give up. Find somebody to help and continue the battle.
What's one thing you'd tell someone struggling with addiction?
No matter how many times you fall, God is a God of second chances, third chances, and fourth chances, and until there's no life left in you, you always have the capacity and the possibility to get up and press on towards the goal and finish that race.
What's one thing you'd tell someone struggling with addiction?
Always stay open to change and a solution.
What's one thing you'd tell someone struggling with addiction?
Don't be discouraged. Take everything that you have within yourself and take it to the next level that God wants you to take it to.
What would you tell someone struggling in addiction?
To stop fighting and just give it up to the Lord.
What's something you'd tell someone struggling in addiction?
Life is worth living. You can live a great life in being sober and living for God. You are loved by God and valued very much. And He is always right there just waiting for you to reach out to Him.